The Jacob Media Sports Network, in partnership with 97.3 ESPN, brings you the Mays and Eytan Show.
Middays with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander.
Now, it's the Midday Show with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander on 97.3 ESPN Radio.
Well, Harry, you've been waiting for this for God knows how long because you've been suffering through Gabe Kapler, Matt Klentak, Bryce Harper hitting 180 with nobody on base and 650 when everybody's on base. You've been suffering through this summer, whatever this season has been, you amongst others, and now we all have gotten to a point where football is here. And I'm not expecting the same level of expectation week one when Carson Wentz and that full offense hit the field for the entire game expected.
That's 31 days from today.
And I know you have the counter going.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to ask why there's less buzz for Nate Sudfeld than there is for Nick Foles and insult your intelligence. I'm not going to go down that road.
Is there less buzz for Nate Sudfeld than there was for Nicky Six?
I mean, post-Super Bowl, yes. Pre-Super Bowl, I don't know.
Man.
I don't know at
Maybe
this
we
point.
should call Jacksonville and get the pulse of Jacksonville
Of the fan base?
to see what the buzz is about Nick Foles down there.
What's the local area code in Jacksonville?
You know, I don't even know.
But that's basically the boiling point question right now, which is why is there not enough buzz?
Next week we'll do that because they play the Jaguars down there, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah,
so we'll talk to many people as we can. Now, speaking of which, the Tennessee Titans are in town, which means we're going to go down to Nashville. You would think that What's that?
904, Josh says, is the area code.
904,
for northern Florida.
Thank you.
Jacksonville.
So
Southern Georgia.
You would think that if anybody, right, I mean, you know the guy that we're going to have on today in Nashville from Philadelphia, you would think that if there was ever an excuse to get back home for a day or two and use these vacation days and the dog days of summer.
I think he burned all those up already.
He's already burned them up?
Probably, yeah.
All right, well, that would be Nick Cale.
Yeah.
Who has been heard here on Philadelphia airwaves and now in Nashville. Now, I was on the other station this morning.
Okay.
Because I was on the other morning show. I was on the one with Blaine Bishop and...
The sheriff.
Yes, correct.
Who played for the Eagles for a little bit.
Wake Up Zone, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So I was on that show.
Buford. That was Buford.
Yeah.
Was the sheriff.
I'm just
who was a Titan.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, Blaine Bishop. Blaine, that's a different guy. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
But he does mornings on the other station?
Yeah.
So that's who Nick's competition is?
I'll tell you, man, I was on this morning show.
That show stinks.
Nick's show?
No.
The show that I was on?
Yeah.
Now, you're putting me in a really difficult predicament here.
Yeah.
All right? Because the show that I was on is being produced by a guy who basically brought me into the ESPN station that's now defunct down in Nashville. Like, I was doing political stuff as a producer, and he heard me. He's like, all right, you should be doing sports talk. Come on down, and brought me on shift. So
he's the guy that we blame.
In Nashville.
For you.
In Nashville.
Oh,
although,
okay.
to be honest with you, I mean, all I was doing is talking Taylor Swift and why the Predators shouldn't leave Nashville for this political talk show. So it's not like I was talking politics.
Oh, okay.
By any means. No, I don't want you to think about that. But listen, we're not going to battle morning shows in Nashville for the next 5 minutes. I can guarantee you that. Nick Cale's going to join us at 12:30.
Well, I'd rather talk about that with him than the Titans.
That's
the Titans
fine.
bore the crap out of me.
Do you want to ask him how the rate? Like, are we going to get into a ratings game with
Cale?
Cale?
He showed up on that branded sports talk lunch table thing. Nick Cale, still on the horizon here in Philadelphia.
That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
Now, Gil, you, myself, Mosher's on there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. All right, so we're represented strong here.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, I'm
we're gonna
out.
We'll talk about that more tomorrow.
Yeah, and I can just promise you I'm out. Just so you know, I'm out on any lunch table association, lunch table conversation.
You don't do the lunch table talk?
That thing is killed already.
Because I was big in, the lunch table was big in my high school.
Oh, is that right?
We had like 7 or 8 guys that, we always had the same table. And nobody ever dared sit at our table.
Otherwise, they'd get their ass kicked.
It was just like, it was known to be our table.
Now, okay, let me ask you this. Do you remember how many people sat at your table?
Like 7.
What are they doing now?
Well, one of them's passed away.
Okay,
was my best friend in high school. He passed away years ago.
Sorry to hear that.
Of diabetes, by the way.
That's no fun.
But no,
Jesus.
I mean, other guys are, selling insurance, medical
so people
insurance.
are normal.
Oh, yeah.
You're the least normal of them doing what you're doing.
What do you mean?
Well, this is
one guy wears a big wig at Sprint out in the
what
Midwest.
I'm saying. All right. So bullying paid off for them.
One guy's in Australia selling hotel properties in Australia.
That's all I was trying to. There's no loaded question. Bullying's paid off.
Right, exactly.
Okay. All
yes.
right. Now, on this wake-up show, it's the wake-up zone, all right? It's at WZ 1045. It's Kevin Ingram, Mark Howard, and Blaine Bishop.
Oh, okay.
All right, now, that's going up against your boy, Nick Kale.
Yeah, Kale's ratings are rising.
Is that right? Good. I'm happy for Nick.
By the minute.
Good. All right, now that's at 12:30.
He has nothing to do with it, though.
The station is rising, or you're saying the show is rising as well?
show.
All right. Well, they're also they've got a former player in Derek Mason on.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
Right.
Mason's just better than Bishop. We don't know that.
Maybe.
At 1 o'clock, our own Jeff Mosher is going to join us. Now, he's going to be in studio at 1 o'clock joining us, and we'll tell you all about that with what we're going to chat about with the Philadelphia Eagles. And 1:30, we've got a really cool guest that you set up.
Yeah, Dan Flaherty is his name, and he's written this book where he's compiled all of the great sports moments from the decade of the 1980s, which is, obviously my wheelhouse. But even if it's not your wheelhouse and you're a younger sports fan, I'm telling you, you need to get in touch with one of the greatest decades in all of sports. In all sports.
I think one thing that will be cool for us is that at 1988, I'm 10 years old. You're what, 15, 16?
No,
you're probably later than that. You're high school, right?
Yeah, I was 23?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, all right.
Yeah, I was 23 in
13
88.
years. All right, that's about right. So think about the difference of I just know stuff from 80 through 84 as like 10 to 12 years learning about it and kind of seeing it again in the 90s, reliving it that way. Now, again, not like a kid today, whereas our appreciation and experience of something that happened in 1989 is going to be pretty different, where you're going to be 23 years old, and you're going to have an adult point of view for it, and I'm going to be like 10 years old.
Yeah, I probably gambled on the game that we're going to talk about.
Exactly right. And I probably had to beg my parents to stay up to watch it.
Stay up to watch it.
Right,
yeah,
think
yeah.
about that.
Right,
but we'll
right.
both, I'll give you a perfect example. That Super Bowl in which Norwood misses the kick.
Okay.
Now we're talking about the 90s.
That was 91,
I know,
believe.
Right, but
yeah.
again, I'm splitting hairs to show an example here, right? 90,
Giants-Bills.
Do you remember, tell me, lay out exactly where you were and the scenario.
Whitney Houston
of you
sang
watching
the
that.
national anthem for that game. It was
so
in
you're
Tampa.
25 at this point, right? Because I'm 12.
I was at a party over in
great.
Wayne, because I was working for a financial institution downtown Philadelphia at the time. And a bunch of the guys in our department, we went over to one guy's house, and he had a party, and it was like 10 of us there, drinking beers and watching the game. That's where I was.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, I remember that
That's
vividly.
awesome.
Yeah.
I was grounded.
You were grounded?
I was grounded. Yeah.
Why? What did you do?
Because at 12 years old, I was...
Now, I was grounded a few times at 12 years
11.
old, too.
I mean, 11 years old,
I'm
technically.
not passing judgment.
No, I get it. But I had a late birthday, right? So I had not turned technically 12 yet, right? But
Okay.
11 years old, I was in 6th grade. And think about this. You're with your buddies, chilling at your buddy's spot, drinking, hanging out,
His
gambling.
name was Joe Crivelli.
Hanging with at Joe K's, drinking, gambling, doing God knows what.
Joe C.
Okay,
Crivelli.
there you go. Thank you for the correction.
Yes.
Meanwhile, I got suspended from 6th grade for being a ringleader in a fight in which I was the one who got my ass kicked the worst.
You were the instigator, and then you got your butt kicked the most?
Yep. What I realized is that, those scenes in the movie in which it's like always the Western, the Wyatt Earp ones, right? When there's a band of guys around the star, and they're talking like, let's kill him. And then the star pulls out the gun and he's like, all right, you first.
Yeah.
And everybody's quiet after that.
Right.
What I realized is that in 6th grade, when I combined, it was called a Hydrox bomb. So we were given Hydrox, not Oreo
Not
cookies.
the Oreo. They were the knockoff
Right,
Oreos.
Right.
Yeah.
And what would happen is bullies, like kids, in the 8th grade, would come into our break area when we were getting these and do Hydrox bombs because you get the small carton of milk and you get a thing of Hydrox.
Maybe 3 or 4 cookies
Right.
in it.
So you chew them to make them all nasty in your mouth, and you have some milk in it to make it an actual bomb, and you spit on people,
Are
right?
you serious?
Yes.
You're disgusting.
Well,
You should have been,
I didn't do this.
You should have been locked up.
It was done to us. So 6th graders would fight 7th graders. 7th graders would fight 8th graders.
Oh,
there
my
was this
God.
7th grader. He was like 6 foot. He had his growth spurt. He didn't say anything, right? Poor kid. Paul, I think his name was.
Paul.
People were picking on him. So I was I saw it, and I was like, all right, let's go. So I hit him with a Hydrox bomb, right? He grabbed my head.
Good.
Bounced my nose off of a dumpster.
Good.
Broke my nose, right? I got suspended. This kid got, like, an award.
He should have. Yeah, he should have.
Right. So that's so my mom, to punish me, made me miss that Super Bowl, and I had to watch it later.
That's good work out of your mom.
See, anybody ever questions why I turned out this way, don't blame my parents.
No, she tried her hard. Mama tried.
She did.
Mama Tried is one of my favorite Grateful Dead songs.
Oh, my God.
It was actually a Merle Haggard hit that they redid, and it was one of the songs. See, how we do this. We bring everything full circle. It's one of the songs that Malcolm Jenkins played on his Grateful Dead playlist at Eagles practice the other day until Deshaun said, "What is this garbage? We got to get some hip-hop on here," and he shut it down.
Now, to be fair, like, if you're gonna say, "What is this garbage?" and put on Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, I don't know what he put on.
Well, yeah, I mean, at that point, aren't you just subbing garbage for garbage?
But I got to be honest, the playlist that Malcolm Jenkins came up with for the Dead is
pretty.
Songs.
Hey, I tell you
Here
what,
we go.
That's the over.
No, was a lonesome whistle blowing.
This is Jerry here?
Young and dream of going up to ride. No, this is Bob Weir.
Oh, Bob Weir.
Yeah.
I got you. But the Dead.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, good job, Josh. Love that song.
609-403.
Well, your mama tried. Is the point.
0973. She did, man.
She did her best.
But think about the difference of how we experience something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But anyway, getting back to the reason, the 80s, he starts it off with this thing with the Miracle on Ice and goes through all types of sports, the Olympics, all the professional leagues, the NCAA tournament, college football. It's pretty cool. So we'll do that
deal
at
with that
1:30.
at 1:30. All right. So here's where we begin. It's a Thursday. Mays and Eytan, 97.3 ESPN.com/app, the easiest way to hear us. Since it's a Thursday, we're at our weekly home, noon to 2 at Dunphy Ford, 7700 North Frankfort Avenue, dunphyford.com. Right here, blocks away from Frankfort and Cottman in Mayfair in the Northeast. We're here each and every Thursday. I'm actually in the process of securing a vehicle.
I saw that.
And you saw this one.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful Ford Edge.
It's a pre-owned Edge that looks brand new.
Yes.
Yes.
And it doesn't have any miles on it. For being 4 years old, it has
Right.
next to no miles on it. And now I can upgrade to the SUV because the dog, not only will he have the collar for another 10 days, but the dog actually has room. The fiance has room. Everybody has room. I'm not jammed into that four-door that I was in.
And the dog might be a little settled down now that he lost his
I don't know.
His masculinity,
it's
if you will.
It's been a problem. All right, here's how excited I am. I want to encapsulate how excited I am
for tonight.
Yes, for football.
Okay.
I mistakenly. Now, I haven't driven my car in a day and a half. No, about a day. And I mistakenly had my window in the driver's seat down. Now, down, I'd say about a quarter of the way down.
During the storm last
night?
night?
The storm last night,
God.
the rain before. Right. My car, my seat is wet.
You're a
my
disaster.
ass right now is soaking wet.
Great.
But you know what it feels like?
You're like the center for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes.
Kirk Cousins can't get the snap right because the center sweats so much, his ass is all wet.
Now, how is that the first time we've ever heard of anything like that?
I don't know.
You would think that a guy, like, they don't wear pads. There's no pads on the back of your thighs. It's not like we've seen this.
I don't know, man.
Unbelievable.
That guy has a glandular issue, I think.
Well, I do not. I just sat on a wet seat for an hour on my way over here to beautiful Dunphy Ford, and I'll be sitting on my wet ass for the next hour and 45 minutes, but I'll be happy. You want to know why? Because it's like I'm sitting on a beach right now. Now, granted, it's hot out. It's this beautiful day, perfect day to buy a car here at Dunphy Ford, but my point of it is football. Well, there's actually something I can watch tonight with my team's jersey on.
Yeah, there is, but I highly doubt that we're going to see.
I don't care. Don't rain on my
players
parade.
Of note. I was really hoping to see a little bit of Miles Sanders, and I understand that he might not play, probably won't play tonight for some reason. We got to find out. We're going to talk with Jeff Mosher, right, at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
But
do you think Kale maybe has some insight on
no,
this? Didn't he go to Penn State?
No, he went to Temple, actually.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about
that.
that.
But he roots for Alabama.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
I'd rather talk about that
Me too.
than the Titans, because the Titans are probably one of the most boring franchises in all of sport.
Right. They do have a quarterback controversy, but two guys who are pretty vanilla.
Yeah. Well, don't they have Tannehill now
That's what
as
I'm
the
saying.
backup?
They traded for Tannehill, but, I mean, come on. Let's be honest. None of these guys are needle movers when it comes to the personality department.
No, not Mariota's personality. And neither his play hasn't really moved the needle much either. I got to be honest.
If it has, if anyway, it's moved it the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we've got that situation with Miles Sanders.
It's going to be a lot
Andre Dillard? You're
well,
going to get a lot of Dillard.
I hope so. I hope we get a decent amount of Andre Dillard because I'm very interested in that.
Harry, the last time we got this much Dillard was when Phyllis Dillard guest starred on Hee Haw.
Oh, jeez. That's a bit of a reach. But we're going to get a lot of Nick Sudfeld tonight, too. Okay, Nate Sudfeld.
You're thinking of Nick
Foles.
Foles.
I missed Nate.
You got Nick Foles on the brain.
Nick Kale, Nate Sudfeld.
A lot of Nates today.
Nate Sudfeld, and I'm interested to see, if he has command. That's really all I'm at. I want people to be lined up in all the right spots, and I want the quarterback to get them in the right spots, and see him try to deliver a couple throws tonight. I want to see how crisp he is because I think he's going to be the backup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, so
at what point do you think it's enough? Like this is the biggest question that I can't answer yet, and I understand that we all have the benefit of waiting for this thing to happen first and seeing how it plays out. And it's not like right now, right this second, I'm saying, okay, this is a definitive statement, but I'm going back and forth about how deep Nate Sudfeld should play versus how deep the guys around him as number ones will play. Like, is Deshaun going to play tonight?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think there's any reason for Deshaun to play.
There you go.
Nor Wentz.
Okay, no, Wentz is out.
Yeah.
Like, forget Wentz. He's assumed.
I don't even know if you need Jason. I don't think you need Jason Peters on the field tonight.
Okay, no, I would agree.
Right?
Jason Peters is out. He's a 1. Deshaun Jackson, we assume, out. He's a 1. Miles Sanders is going to be a starting running back alongside Jordan Howard and Darren Sproles. They're all 1s.
Yeah, I want to know who the running backs are going to be tonight.
But that's my point, is that he's probably going to be out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sudfeld jersey, walking by Dunphy Ford, represented strong.
Are you serious?
Just saw it, just walked by.
That was a number 7?
That was a number 7, strong, Eagles black right there that walked by.
Yeah, his timing was perfect.
Amazing. It was almost like we set that up. It was almost like John from Dunphy set that up ahead of time, texted the guy and said, all right, now they're talking about Nate Sudfeld.
That might have been Nick Sudfeld, though, that walked by.
Listen, at this point, I don't know if anybody would know the difference between Nick and Nate if they stood next to each other.
Here's another. I want to see.
But real quick. My point of it all, I was just tying it together, is that are you really going to get a good feel of who Nate Sudfeld is if
he's
you see
playing
around
with 2s
him?
and 3s? I know. That's a fair question.
And
that's what kind of stinks about preseason is, you don't really want to see your starters too much, or if at all, until the third game because you don't want them to get hurt. But then when you start seeing, some guys that could be key, fringe ones or the back, the straight up second strings at key positions, you sort of sit there and say, well, am I really seeing what this guy can do because he's playing with other 2s, 3s, and depth guys.
Right.
So you don't really get a great feel for it. Plus, there's no game planning.
No.
For these games.
No. And there's no real adjustment.
Right.
Because if you're not going to game plan, how much you it's almost thinking it's that scene from Tin Cup where Costner's just going to hit that ball no matter what. Mm-hmm. Like if Jim Schwartz has an idea of some defensive scheme and it can work, he'll get burned 4 or 5 times in a row to make sure that it's not, it's the scheme, that it's not something with the player. You know what I mean? He'll exhaust it at this point.
Are we going to see a little dose of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside?
Oh, I would imagine you would, right? Because if there's no Alshon and there's no Deshaun Jackson, then you're going to have to get a good, hard look.
Yeah.
No, Nelson Aguilar. We're talking about Aguilar not playing
I
as
don't
well.
know.
Whatever
I really
happened?
Don't know.
What happened to the first preseason game being where? And I'm not talking about Wentz. I'm talking about everybody else.
They play a series.
Yeah, or 2.
Maybe they will.
Well, maybe they look at it and say, "Hey, if that guy number 11 ain't out there, then why the hell am I going to be?"
No, I don't think so. They know what he represents to this team and how important he is to be healthy. I don't think that causes any kind of a problem. There's another guy. Is this Josh Sweat?
Well, there's a lot.
We're going to see a good dose of him tonight.
A lot of talk.
There was a little hype about him coming into camp this year.
A lot of talk about that.
Sharif Miller is a guy they drafted out of Penn State. The edge rushing linebacker guy. They took in the middle rounds.
Do you remember?
What do you mean?
I was going to say what round.
No, I think it might have been fourth round, fifth round.
No, but you said middle rounds as I was thinking that. That would be interesting to see. But,
Big
defense,
V at guard.
I feel like we kind of know who Big V is.
Yeah, but at guard, though. I heard he's playing really well. They like the Sayamalo at guard, the left side, too.
True.
He's playing well.
Isaac Sayamalo.
I don't know how much we'll see of him, but.
Well, that's the thing, is the offensive line is really going to be you're going to have to look at who you have out there as an offensive line.
Sidney Jones.
Nate Sudfeld can't get hurt.
What about Sidney Jones? Having a good camp?
Yeah.
He's going to have to play a little bit.
He's going to have to play a lot if Jalen Mills and Ronald Darby are banged up.
No doubt.
I mean, listen, I don't know. I just don't get how you look at this and think there's going to be a full takeaway from Nate Sudfeld. It doesn't mean I'm not going to watch. It doesn't mean I'm not interested or looking forward to watch. I'm almost preempting the conversation tomorrow.
Yeah.
When Sudfeld comes out and doesn't look like Nick Foles did in the Super Bowl, and people start bitching and moaning on Twitter and pandering to the lowest common denominator on the phone.
But even if he looks good, you really can't get crazy.
Well, okay,
great,
like great.
That's
Sam Bradford
point.
going 10 for 10.
Right.
It's fair.
Yeah.
It's very fair. But you
might feel a little bit more comfortable, but you can't get crazy to say, oh, man, he looks pretty good enough. If Carson has to miss a game or two, we're good.
Let me ask you, though, on that same vein, 609-403-0973 is the text board. You can hit us up on everything going on. We'll mention some Phillies maybe.
We do have Nola versus Bumgarner tonight.
Yeah, so maybe between Nick Cale at 12:30 and Jeff Mosher at 1, we can squeeze in that pitching matchup. At 12:45.
Yeah, I got some numbers on the Phillies.
Yeah.
They're bad numbers, but I got some.
I was going to say, I bet they are bad. All right, so I'm curious, from you and from everybody else out there, at Harry Mays to you, at Shander Show, if you like. And again, we don't force you. We're not going to drill a question over and over again. We don't need the interaction. We just like and enjoy the interaction. But is there anything that Nate Sudfeld can do tonight that you would get crazy about? That you would either go crazy, positive, or negative about?
Well, let's just say he delivers a tremendous ball up the seam to J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and catches him in stride for a big touchdown. I think that would make the fan base feel pretty darn good, right?
Yeah, but isn't that also – hold on, we saw Sam Bradford do that 10 out of 10.
Yeah, but he's not going to be the starter. I'm just saying it's not like –
you just want to make sure that Nate Sudfeld doesn't walk out with his shoes tied together.
Right. I want him to look like a competent backup quarterback tonight.
Let's be honest. The bar is really low for you tonight with Nate Sudfeld.
It is.
The guy really just comes out and hits a couple of outs and a corner route.
Don't trip over your own feet.
Seriously.
Don't throw 3 picks.
Oh, my goodness. That would be a nightmare. If we got a multi-turnover performance from Nate Sudfeld tonight,
that would not be good.
All the conversation about Nick Foles.
And then we got second half of Thorson or whatever his name is.
Well, Cody Kessler, right?
Well, Cody Kessler's in there too, yeah. But I've seen him already. I've seen him start games.
That other guy, Joe Thornton, he's there as a camp arm.
Thorson?
Right?
Yeah, I guess.
This is camp. I mean, technically, the first preseason game.
Played, he was the Northwestern.
Thurston Howell? What did you
Thorson.
say? Oh, Thorson.
Yes.
Jeez, man, these guys, they come out of nowhere. Penn State? Where'd he go?
No, Northwestern.
That's right. I knew it was Big Ten.
I saw him play a lot in college.
When are you blown away? Are you excited?
No, not really.
You saw the guy play in college, and you don't have any emotion about him playing tonight. Isn't that amazing?
None.
Not many people
He's
can say that.
He's battling for the third string to me.
With who? Kessler?
I don't know.
Is Kessler that bad?
No.
I just thought Thorson was brought in as a body because they knew they needed 3 quarterbacks out there, and Wentz wasn't going to play.
Hey, somebody goes down in preseason, they might be able to trade Kessler.
Is that right?
Because he's actually started games in the NFL.